Welcome to Chapter 5 of Digital Communication, Baseband Modulation and Transmission. Module 3 includes duo binary code and partial response signaling. Duo binary code is also known as correlative code. So that code, the third name of that code is PRS code. That is partial response signaling code. So all these three names are written here: correlative code or duo binary code or partial response signaling code, PRS. The transmission is known as partial response signaling. So we will get the reason why it is called correlative code, why it is called duo binary code, why the transmission or signaling is called partial response signaling. So once we completed this module, we will get the answer for all these three questions. Nyquist rate bandwidth is equal to FB by 2 Hz. That bandwidth is known as Nyquist Hertz bandwidth, and once you are using a Nyquist filter, FB bits can be transmitted per second with a bandwidth of FB by 2 Hz without any ISI. That is an ideal situation. No ISI and bandwidth is minimum FB by 2 Hz. But practically, bandwidth is always greater than FB by 2. That we realized after studying raised cosine filter. So the bandwidth is always greater than FB by 2, depends upon the factor alpha. So usually the bandwidth will be FB Hertz and then alpha will be 1. So FB by 2 into 1 plus 1, that will be FB Hertz. So bandwidth can vary from FB by 2 Hertz to FB Hertz. So what will be the extra bandwidth needed compared to FB by 2? That is known as excess bandwidth. But there is a signaling technique known as duo binary signaling. FB bits can be transmitted per second with a bandwidth of only FB by 2 Hz and also with a negligible ISI. So that is the advantage we are getting from duo binary signaling. Signal can be transmitted with a bandwidth of only Nyquist bandwidth and with a negligible ISI also. We will prove this one later. So in other way, we are able to say Nyquist bandwidth can be practically realized using duo binary signaling. So first I will give the reason why it is called duo binary signaling. Normally for transmission of FB bits per second, we need FB Hertz bandwidth. That is a practical bandwidth, FB Hertz bandwidth. And according to Nyquist bandwidth, the bandwidth requirement is only FB by 2 Hz. And just assume that the channel bandwidth is FB Hertz. Channel bandwidth is FB Hertz. So practically, we can transmit only FB bits per second. But using a new technique, using this new signaling technique, for the same bandwidth FB Hertz, we can transmit 2 FB bits per second. Because for 2 FB bits per second transmission, what is the bandwidth needed? 2 FB by 2, that is only FB Hertz. So meaning of that one is, using this signaling system, the binary rate can be doubled. That is why it is called duo binary signaling. Binary rate can be doubled using this signaling system. So that is due to this reason, practically FB Hertz bandwidth, but using this signaling system, bandwidth is only FB by 2. So only half bandwidth is needed. That means for a given bandwidth, the rate can be doubled. So it is called duo binary signaling with a negligible inter-symbol interference. So we'll study the basic block diagram of duo binary code, first starting with the encoder. B of BK, that's the input signal, non-return to zero polar signal with the amplitude plus or minus 1 volt. And there is a delay system, that is BK minus 1. And the present bit and the previous bits are going to be added, just an algebraic addition. Like if it is 1 and 1, output will be 2. Minus 1, output will be minus 2. If it is 1 and minus 1, output will be 0. That is CK. So the amplitudes of CK are plus 2, minus 2 or 0, provided the input amplitudes are plus or minus 1. And this is passing through a Nyquist filter with a bandwidth of FB by 2 Hz with height TB, and finally we will get a band limited output with a bandwidth of FB by 2 Hz. And we are realized in the previous module, this is not a realizable filter. So finally we will show that this is not going to realize, this is not going to realize. We will take these two together with a new system known as duobinary conversion filter, and we'll prove that this duobinary conversion filter is a realizable filter. It is a cosine filter with a bandwidth of only FB by 2 Hz and without any sharp cutoff. There is a sharp cutoff here. Without any sharp cutoff, we will get that filter. So the filter is a realizable, bandwidth is only FB by 2 Hz, and signals can be transmitted without ISA. That will be clear when we are proceeding the topic. So this is a basic block diagram of duobinary system. Input signal plus the previous signal, both are going to be added. The output voltage will be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, minus 1 plus minus 1 is equal to minus 2, and 1 plus minus 1 is equal to 0. These are the three voltages we will get here. So it's a ternary transmission, 3-level transmission, ternary, plus 2, minus 2 or 0 voltage. And it is passing through a filter with a cutoff frequency FB by 2, and that is a band limited duobinary signal. And later these two are going to be combined, that is duobinary encoder and Nyquist filter are going to be combined. We will get a new system. That system is known as duobinary conversion filter. So we are able to prove that one. That is a realizable system. So using that system, that input signal can be transmitted with a bandwidth of only FB by 2 Hz. So duobinary encoder output CK is equal to BK plus BK minus 1. That is the equation or relationship between input and output. This is writing in terms of a polynomial format also, that is known as characteristic polynomial of duobinary encoder is saying 1 plus D. 1 stands for the present bit, D stands for the delayed bit. So 1 plus D. So if it is asked in the question paper, explain duobinary system with characteristic polynomial 1 plus D. So then we have to go for this system. This is the 1 plus D for characteristic polynomial system. Present bit plus delayed bit. BK plus BK minus 1. So we'll take an example. We'll study how to get the duobinary output. Input data is written 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and I'm showing 8 bits. And that is written in terms of 1s and 0. But for a voltage addition, 0s and 1 should be converted to voltage level. So 0 is represented as minus 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1. So it is represented in terms of voltage level. And then BK minus 1. So minus 1 is shifted here. Minus 1 here shifted. And here there is a blank. 1 bit should be assumed there. And always remember the same voltage should be written here. Without that one, finally we are not able to do decoding. That is one restriction here. The same voltage should be written here. If it is minus 1, so this minus 1 should be written here. If it is plus 1, write here plus 1. Never write opposite voltage here. If you are writing opposite voltage, decoding is not possible to start. So that is one important result. Always write the same voltage. It will be clear when you are studying the decoding system. So otherwise, except this one, all these are just a delayed signal only. Minus 1 is coming here, this 1 is coming here, this minus 1 is coming here. So this is a delayed signal. Now just addition, minus 1 plus minus 1 minus 2. So if it is minus 1, write here minus 1 also, always you will get minus 2. If it is plus 1, write here plus 1, always you will get plus 2. And if it is minus 1 and if you are writing plus 1, it will be 0. So only requirement is the first voltage has to be plus 2 or minus 2. Never get 0 voltage. So minus 2, here also again minus 2, 1 plus minus 1, 0. So we got all that added voltage. And this added voltage can be represented in terms of a pulses. That is the waveform of duobinary signal like this. Minus 2, again minus 2, then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, then plus 2. So pulse can be represented like this. These are minus 2 voltage level, then 0 voltage level, then plus 2 voltage level. We'll get 3 different levels. Minus 2, 0 and plus 2. This is a duobinary output. And then it is passing through that filter. Finally that filter output is going to be transmitted. Here you can see C1 is equal to, that is C. These are C bit. That's the output of the duobinary system. C1. So this I will say C1. C1 is equal to, and this is B1, this is B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8. And this will be then B0 because B1 is coming here. So when you are getting this one, C1 is equal to B1 plus B0. That is written here, B1 plus B0. Similarly, this bit C2 is equal to B2 plus B1, that is B2 plus B1. Similarly, when you are writing C3 is equal to B3 plus B2. So that is from that original equation only. Ck is equal to Bk plus Bk minus 1. And when you are comparing these two, you can see C1 and C2, there is a common bit between C1 and C2. For C1 is going to be generated from B1, C2 is also going to be generated from B1. So there is a correlation between C1 and C2. Because for C1 and C2, we are using a common bit B1. So once we are using the same bit for generating C1 and C2, then surely there is a relationship between C1 and C2. Similarly, there is a relationship between C2 and C3 also. Between C2 and C3, B2 is common bit. So B1 and B2 are correlated. Sorry, C1 and C2 are correlated. Next, C2 and C3 are correlated. Then C3 and C4 are correlated. That is why the code is known as correlative code. There is always a correlation existing between all that duo binary output. That is why it is known as correlative code. So we got the two reasons why it is known as duo binary code, why it is known as correlative code. Why it is called correlative code? There is a correlation between duo binary signals. So that is why it is known as correlative code. What is the reason it is called duo binary code? Using this correlative code, the binary rate can be doubled or bandwidth can be made half. So due to this reason, it is a duo binary code. Next, duo binary code decoder. So duo binary input, that is, this is input Ck. Ck will be the input. The switch is going to be closed at every TB second. So we'll get the voltage -2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. At every TB second, voltage will come here. So based on that voltage, decision device should make a decision. So how to make a decision? Algorithm is written here. If Ck is equal to +2 voltage, output is 1. Because +2 can be obtained only from present bit is +1, previous bit is also +1. If it is -2 voltage, output will be 0 because -2 can be obtained only present voltage is -1, previous voltage is also -1. And if it is 0 voltage, the difficulty will come only when it is 0 voltage. If it is 0 voltage, present bit is 1, previous one is -1, or present is -1, previous one was +1. So both cases will get 0 voltage. So we cannot make a direct decision if it is 0 voltage. That is why if the voltage is 0, then complement of the previous output bit, that will be the present output bit. Take the complement of previous output bit, that's a new output bit. So for these two cases, direct decision, but for this case, we should know the previous bit. Then only we are able to make the present bit. Okay, so we'll apply this algorithm here. This is the decoder input, that is same as the encoder output. -2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. That is written here. -2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. That is a decoder input. And then according to this algorithm, decoder output will be, if it is -2, output is 0. If it is -2, output is 0. But if it is 0, what is the decision? Complement of previous bit. What is the previous bit? 0. So the present bit is 1. Next voltage is 0. Previous bit is 1. So complement, that is 0. Present voltage is 0. Take the previous bit, take the complement. Present voltage is 0. Check what is the previous bit, take the complement. Present voltage is 0. Verify the previous bit, take the complement. And if it is 2 voltage, direct decision 1. So that's the original bits. So we are able to get the original bits based on this algorithm. Now I just want to show one disadvantage of this particular algorithm, and that is I am showing here. If Ck is equal to, instead of -2, I just got this voltage is 0 voltage. That's one error. This is just 0 voltage. There is only one error. So that I am showing here. The received voltage is -2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. That is only one error. So instead of second voltage is -2, I got it is 0 voltage. So we are applying our algorithm. Based on that algorithm, first voltage is -2, so decision 0. But the next voltage is 0. What is the decision? Complement of previous bit. So what is the previous bit? 0. So the present bit will be 1. Next, again, based on the previous bit. So we are making a continuous wrong decision till the last voltage. Last voltage is +2. There the decision is correct. The decision will be 1. So we made an error for the second bit, and the second bit is making third bit error, third is making fourth bit error, fourth is making fifth bit error, fifth is making sixth bit error, sixth is making seventh bit error. This is known as error propagation in duo binary system. Actually, there is only one error between transmitter and receiver, but after applying our algorithm, we got 6 errors. This is known as error propagation, and the reason for this error propagation is for this voltage, whenever we received 0 voltage, we are making a decision based on the previous bit. So the previous bit was a wrong bit, the present bit is also a wrong bit. So once the zeros are continuing, then we are going to make continuous errors, that is known as error propagation. One more disadvantage can be written, that is this. Suppose if all these voltages are inverted, that is known as polarity inversion. And this minus 2 is going to be received as plus 2, then plus 2, then this will be minus 2. So then what will be the decision according to our algorithm? This will be 1, this will be 1, then 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. So we are getting the completely inverted bits, that is known as polarity inversion error. So there are two disadvantages. One is error propagation, second polarity inversion error. Both disadvantages can be eliminated using an additional system, and that is known as differential encoder as a precoder. Differential encoder. Okay, before that one, I just want to say again why this same voltage should be written here. Here minus 1, I just written here minus 1, that is why I got minus 2 first. If I am getting here minus 2, that is why I can make the decision 0. Instead of that one, if I assumed that it is plus 1, then minus 1 plus plus 1, it will be 0 voltage. And if it is 0, initially we will get 0 voltage here. And if you are getting a 0 voltage, tell me how to make a decision. If it is 0 voltage, according to our algorithm, complement of previous output bit, and we don't have any previous output bit, that is the first output voltage. So once you received a 0 voltage here, we are not able to start decoding. That is the reason I said the first voltage has to be plus 2 or minus 2. For that one, what you should do? Say write the same voltage here. If it is minus 1, write here minus 1. If it is plus 1, write here plus 1. So there is no difficulty for implementing decoding. So now I am going with the second system, that is duobinary code with precoder. We are including an additional system to avoid error propagation and polarity inversion error. That is written here, to avoid error propagation and to avoid polarity inversion error. Both disadvantages can be eliminated using an additional system. This is a differential encoder. An additional system, and the name of this differential encoder is precoder because it is placed before this coder. That is why it is called precoder. And the name of the system is duobinary code with precoder. So precoder input is BK, like our normal result, the previous one BK, but that is given to an XOR BK, and output is AK, and the same AK is delayed here, that is AK minus 1. So the two bits we are XORing is BK and AK minus 1, that is present input bit and previous output bit. BK XOR AK minus 1, that is a present output bit AK, and that AK in terms of ones and zeros only, like this. If it is 1 and 1, output will be 0. If it is 0, 0, output will be 0. If it is 1, 0, output will be 1. And that 1 or 0 should be written in terms of plus or minus 1 voltage. That is the responsibility of this non-returned 0 polar generator. The same ones and zeros will be converted to plus 1 voltage and minus 1 voltage. And then here plus or minus 1 voltage delayed by TB second. Here also plus or minus 1 voltage. So here voltage addition. We'll get like the previous case, we'll get plus 2, 0 or minus 2 voltage. Passing through Nyquist filter, the output is going to be transmitted. Combination of these two is known as duo-binary conversion filter. This is same as the previous one. Only this is an additional one. There is a differential encoder. Why do you say differential encoder? If the inputs are 1 and 1, what is the difference? 0. So that's the output. If it is 0, 0, again difference is 0. That's the output. If it is 1 and 0, difference is 1. That's the output here. So this XOR is always providing difference at the output side. The difference between two inputs, that will be the output. That is why it is known as differential encoder. And here that is placed before this encoder. That is why it is called precoder. So precoder output AK is equal to, the expression I am writing, AK is equal to BK XOR AK minus 1. Here XOR. And here voltage addition. Here 1 XOR 1 is equal to 0, but here 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 volt. And duobinary encoder output CK is equal to AK plus AK minus 1. Here it is AK minus 1. AK plus AK minus 1. So that's the equation here, AK plus AK minus 1. Now again the same example I have written again, 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 1, that is bk, the bk here. Now second line is a k minus 1. We don't know the first bit here, and any bit can be assumed, not necessarily should be 0. So if you want to assume, you can assume 1. So no restriction here, you assume 0 or 1, finally your answer remains same. So here I assumed 0, and then XOR 0 and 0, output will be 0. So here 0, here also 0, output is 0 because XOR 0 0 XOR is 0. And that result will be delayed by TB second for next XOR. So once you got this 0, that 0 should be delayed here. That is AK minus 1. So from here delay. We are not going to get second line. First we will get third line. From third only we will get second line. These are the input bits. First bit we are getting like this. XOR in these two bits we will get 0. Here this bit is a assumed bit. It can be assumed as 0 or 1. And this example I assumed it is 0. It can be assumed 1 also. Still final answer remains same. So 0 XOR 0 0. That 0 is delayed here. Then again 0 XOR 0 0 delayed here. 1 XOR 0 1 delayed. 0 XOR 1 1 delayed. 1 XOR 1 0 delayed. 0 XOR 0 0 delayed bit. 1 XOR 0 1 delayed. 1 1 XOR 0. So we got AK and AK minus 1. Next line is, these AKs are written in terms of voltage level. Like a 0 is minus 1, 0 is minus 1, because for voltage addition should be voltage level, not just logic levels like a 1 and 0. 1 is 1 volt, 1 is 1 volt, 0 will be minus 1 volt, 0 minus 1 volt, 1 1 0 minus 1. So that is AKs are written here. All these AK are written in terms of voltage level. Next, all these AK minus 1s are written in terms of voltage level. That is here. This is AK minus 1 in terms of voltage level. AK minus 1, 0, 0, 0. That is written here. Minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. Next, double 1. Double 1 here. Next, double 0, 1. Here, double 0, 1. Each 0 will be represented as minus 1 voltage. So, we have completed AK and AK minus 1. Once you got AK and AK minus 1, then only voltage addition. AK plus AK minus 1. So, the first output voltage is minus 1 plus minus 1 minus 2, again minus 1 plus 1 minus 2, 1 plus minus 1 0, 1 plus 1 2, minus 1 plus 1 voltage addition 0, minus 1 plus minus 1 minus 2, 1 plus minus 1 0, minus 1 plus 1 0. That is a duobinary signal output. So duobinary signal output is always in terms of plus 2 voltage or minus 2 voltage or 0 voltage. It's a ternary signaling, 3-level transmission. Now we can see from this how to make the decision at the receiving side. Decoder block diagram is same only, modified duobinary input. Switch is going to be closed at every TB second. We'll get that voltage CK, then decision device. Now the algorithm is different. If CK is equal to 0 voltage, output is 1. If you are getting 0 here, the decision is 1. If you are getting here plus 2 or minus 2, output will be 0. That's the algorithm. If CK is equal to 0 voltage, output is 1. If CK is equal to plus or minus 2 voltage, output is 0. We are not making any decision based on the previous bit. So that is why there is no error propagation. And here plus 2 voltage or minus 2 voltage, our decision is same. That is why no polarity inversion error also. So these are the CK voltages we got in the previous slide. Minus 2, 0, 2, 0, minus 2, 0, 0. This is the voltage we have transmitted. The same voltage we have written as the decoder input. Now use this algorithm. Minus 2, according to the algorithm, plus or minus 2 output is 0. So minus 2, 0, minus 2, 0, plus 2, 0, minus 2, 0. And wherever input is 0, output will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's our original bits. 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. Now you verify, is any chance error can propagate or is any polarity inversion error? If complete voltages are inverted, still answer remains same. Because if it is plus 2, minus 2, plus 2, that is known as polarity inversion, but answer is same only. Now you make anywhere one error. Suppose this is received a 0 voltage. If it is 0 voltage, the only problem is that 0 will make a 1 here. But the next bits are not going to change. So only one error will happen. We are not going to get continuous error. There is no error propagation. So both disadvantages are eliminated with the help of that precoder system. Now transfer function of duobinary conversion filter. So that transfer function of duobinary conversion filter will give the answer what is the bandwidth needed and the system is a realizable system or not. Our block diagram repeated here. BK dual binary encoder output BK plus BK minus 1, then that is given to Nyquist filter, final output is CK. We'll start with the transfer function of this, then transfer function of this, then these two transfer functions are going to be multiplied. That will give the transfer function of dual binary conversion filter. If two systems are cascaded, the cascaded system's transfer function is a multiplication of individual transfer function. So transfer function of dual binary encoder, first subtopic, let Bk Fourier transform B of f, Bk minus 1 Fourier transform B of f into e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb. This is time shifting property of Fourier transform. If Bk Fourier transform B of f, then B of k minus tb, that's the meaning of k minus 1. B of k minus tb is equal to B of f into e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb. If it is Bk plus 1, this will be e raised to j 2 pi ftb. If it is Bk minus 2, this will be e raised to minus j 2 pi f 2 tb. So it will become 4 pi ftb. So we got the transfer function Bk and Bk minus 1. So we got Bk Fourier transform, Bk minus 1 Fourier transform. This Bk also we know. So that is sufficient for writing the transfer function dual binary encoder. Transfer function dual binary encoder is equal to Fourier transform of output divided by Fourier transform of input. And Fourier transform of output is Fourier transform of Bk, that is B of f, plus Fourier transform of Bk minus 1, B of f into e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb, divided by Fourier transform of input, that is B of f. So take B of f outside, and that B of f, this B of f cancel. So the answer is 1 plus e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb. And this can be written finally in terms of cos, because 1 is equal to e raised to j theta into e raised to minus j theta. E raised to j theta into e raised to minus j theta is same as e raised to 0 is equal to 1. E raised to minus j 2 theta can be written as e raised to minus j theta into e raised to minus j theta. So it will be e raised to minus j 2 theta. So that is going to be used here. Here 1 is going to be written as e raised to j pi ftb into e raised to minus j pi ftb, and this is going to be written as e raised to minus j pi ftb into e raised to minus j pi ftb. So how we have written that one? E raised to j theta plus e raised to minus j theta into e raised to minus j theta, that is same as e raised to j pi ftb plus e raised to minus j pi ftb into e raised to minus j pi ftb. For converting this into cos, divided by this term divided by 2 multiplied by 2. So 2 into e raised to j theta plus e raised to minus j theta by 2 is cos theta. So it is written 2 cos pi ftb into e raised to minus j pi ftb. And the last part is the modulus part, that is the magnitude part of this one, that is modulus h1 of f is equal to 2 cos pi ftb, because modulus of e raised to minus j theta is equal to 1. That is why that part is not there. So modulus of e raised to j theta or e raised to minus j theta is 1. So the remaining part is only 2 cos pi ftb. So the magnitude part is 2 cos pi ftb. Other one is the phase part. So we got the transfer function of first part. Now the transfer function of Nyquist filter. That is a defined one. Transfer function Nyquist filter is always Tb from minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2 and is equal to 0 elsewhere. This we have used previously also for when you studied the Nyquist filter. Transfer function Nyquist filter is Tb from minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2. That is that brick wall shape, constant shape from minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2. So this is a transfer function of Nyquist filter. Previous one is a transfer function of dual binary encoder, and these two can be multiplied for getting the transfer function of dual binary conversion filter. That is HDF is equal to H1f into H2f. That is 1 plus e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb into Tb. So answer is Tb plus Tb e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb. That's the previous result. This result 1 plus e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb, that is the transfer function of first system, that is multiplied with this Tb. So that is 2 Tb, that is written here, Tb into 1 plus e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb, that is Tb plus Tb e raised to minus j 2 pi ftb. from minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2 and is equal to 0 elsewhere. Now the magnitude part, modulus HDF is equal to the previous modulus H1F into modulus of H2F. And modulus H1F we got 2 cos pi f TB. And here we got TB. So that is 2 TB cos pi f TB from minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2 and is equal to 0 elsewhere. And now this is going to be plotted here. For that plotting that one, the function existing only from minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2, that is it is showing only from minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2. First we substitute f is equal to 0. When f is equal to 0, it will be cos 0. Cos 0 is equal to 1. 1 into 2 TB. That is why at f is equal to 0, height is 2 TB. Then substitute f is equal to fb by 2. When f is equal to fb by 2, fb and tb cancel. So it will be cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is equal to 0. That is why it is 0 here. Similarly, here also it is 0. So we are getting a transfer function like this. From minus fb by 2 to plus fb by 2, it is not constant, it is cosine filter. It is cosine. See, the answer is in terms of cos. It's a cosine filter. And you can see from this one, bandwidth is only fb by 2. Whenever we are taking the bandwidth, take only positive side width. Because cutoff frequency is fb by 2. So the bandwidth requirement is only fb by 2. Second important part, is it a realizable filter? Yes, it's a realizable filter because there is no sharp cutoff. The Nyquist filter we got sharp cutoff. Here there is no sharp cutoff. It's a gradual roll off only. So it's a realizable filter. And the third important result we are getting is the maximum response we are getting at f is equal to 0. That is maximum response against a 0 frequency. That is DC level. There are some communication network DC level cannot be transmitted, or the signal should be transmitted without DC. In that case, we cannot go for this duobinary system because this duobinary system is giving maximum response against a 0 frequency. Then we have to go for another duobinary system that is known as modified duobinary system. In that modified duobinary system, we will get 0 response against a 0 frequency. Here, maximum response we are getting against a 0 frequency. So if you want to get 0 response against a 0 frequency, instead of cos, we should go for sine. And we will get a sign provided instead of plus sign if the sign is minus sign. So instead of going for addition, do subtraction, we will get a sine filter. So sine filter will give a 0 response against a 0 frequency. So that's according to the requirement. All main points are written here. Bandwidth is fb by 2 Hz. It's a realizable filter because there is no sharp cutoff. Maximum response at f is equal to 0. That is a DC level. And this filter is a cosine filter. Impulse response of duobinary conversion filter. You just take the inverse Fourier transform of that transfer function. That is known as impulse response. HDF, that is the previous answer. HDF is equal to TB plus TB e raised to minus j 2 pi FTB from minus FB by 2 to plus FB by 2 and is equal to 0 elsewhere. Take the inverse Fourier transform. That is integral minus FB by 2 to plus FB by 2. This function e raised to j pi ft df. Do that integration, we will get the answer like this. Transfer function, inverse Fourier transform of TB is sinc t by TB. Inverse Fourier transform of this is sinc t minus TB by TB. This is the inverse Fourier transform of this and this, or this is the impulse response of this transfer function. When you are applying the inverse Fourier transform of this HDF, we will get impulse response. After getting impulse response, then plot that one. Sinc t by TB. How to plot that one? Whenever it is a sinc function or sinc square function, always there are two steps. Substitute. This term is equal to 0 and this term is equal to 1. So first we will substitute t by TB is equal to 0. That will give the answer t is equal to 0. That is why at t is equal to 0, you should draw the sinc function. Sinc function is like this. Sinc function, not sinc square. Sinc function. So it will first lobe, this will be in the negative side, then positive side. If it is sinc square, always positive side. Like this it will come, positive. But it's a sinc function here. Positive, then negative, then positive, negative, like that. So substituting t by TB is equal to 0, that will give the variable t is equal to 0. So at t is equal to 0, height will be 1. Then next substitution, t by TB is equal to 1. So t by TB is equal to 1 means t is equal to TB. That is at TB 0 point. Only we want to get these 2 points. where you are getting 1 and where you are getting 0. So at 0 height is 1, at TB height will be 0. Then the same width can be repeated like this, TB, then 2 TB, 3 TB, left side minus TB, minus 2 TB, etc., minus TB, minus 2 TB, etc. Second, here also we will do the same procedure. T minus TB divided by TB is equal to 0. So that will give the answer T minus TB is equal to 0. From that we will get T is equal to TB. That is why at T is equal to TB we will get the second sinc function, that black one. Second sinc function at T is equal to TB. So that also I made second sinc function. Then go for addition of these two. This blue function and this black function, just add. Here it is 1 and the black one is 0, so 1 plus 0, 1 only. Here this is 2 by root pi, blue and black at 2 by root pi, so there the height will be 4 by pi. Here again 1 plus, here 0, so 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. So like that it can be added. Here this is positive, but here there is a negative voltage, that is why the height reduced. So this red one is the impulse response of duobinary filter, the final one. Red is the duobinary filter response, that is addition of present bit response and the previous bit response. That is the response of C of k and response of, this is the response of Bk and response of Bk minus 1. Addition of these two, that is the response of Ck. So the present output response is the response of present input bit and the response of previous input bit. Because our expression is Ck is equal to Bk plus Bk minus 1. Now when you are getting the final duobinary response, we can say the duobinary response is maximum at T is equal to TB by 2. At this time, the response of the duobinary signal is maximum. This red response is maximum at T is equal to TB by 2. But the blue response is maximum at T is equal to 0. Black response is maximum at T is equal to TB. And this is the Bk response, this is a Bk minus 1 response, but Ck response is maximum at T is equal to TB by 2. That is why at the receiving side, the switch, that is a sampler switch, is going to be closed at T is equal to TB by 2. Next 3 TB by 2, next 5 TB by 2, like that the switch is going to be closed. But when the switch is going to be closed, the response of present bit and the previous bits are only partial, not maximum. But duobinary response is maximum at T is equal to TB by 2. That is why the signaling is called partial response signaling. So when the switch is going to be closed, we are not taking the maximum response of present bit and previous bit. We are taking only partial response of present bit and the previous bit. So due to that reason, it is called partial response signaling. Here we are allowing to overlap the present bit and previous bit. So even though these two bits are going to overlap, but still the decision can be made without any error. That is why we allow, even though there is an overlap, that means even though there is a ISI, but there is no error in duobinary system. So we are controlling the ISI in this duobinary system, controlling ISI. Because we know even though there is an overlap like this, still the decision can be made based on our algorithm, and without any error we will get the answer. So at T is equal to TB by 2, response of Bk and Bk minus 1 are only partial. At T is equal to TB by 2, response of Ck is maximum. That is why the sampling time at the receiving side is TB by 2, 3 TB by 2, 5 TB by 2, etc. But when you consider this closing time, the information bit Bk, Bk minus 1 are not peak. Only partial response are going to be taken. So it is called partial response signaling. Thank you.